Hello, this is Carolyn Kinane, Contemplative Sciences Center, University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia, USA. And this is the final video in an installment of a series on contemplative course design. So if you have not yet viewed the previous slides, please do so. Otherwise, this closing will make very little sense. Very briefly, I just want to end with a few words. If you are interested in doing some contemplative teaching and learning, there are very few things that I would ask you to consider. I would ask you first to start with your learning goals and objectives, not with the practice. So rather than, I want students to do mindfulness meditation, instead think about what it is that you hope is transformed by engaging in contemplative practice. Contemplative practices are transformative. Be explicit about what you hope is transformed. I would ask that you please have a practice. So adopt a fractal perspective. What it is that you're asking students to do it yourself. May the part of the smallest part show up in the whole also. I would also ask you to have a practice so that you are striving for integrity and authenticity. That is, if you're asking students to be reflective, have a reflective practice for yourself. I would encourage you to consider prioritizing your students over your discipline. So rather than loving the content of your discipline more than you might love the humans in the class with you, think about the humans that are before you, and that your discipline content is not meaning itself, it is a way of making meaning. So finding the human heart of your discipline, and I have a deep dive workshop that we'll post another time on doing that. I would also encourage you to release some of the content and the coverage of your discipline in order to make room for human experiences. Please also consider your context. What I'm suggesting is not going to be right for a lot of other people. What is it that you're comfortable with? What are the power dynamics and the positionalities in the room or in the Zoom where you're teaching? If you are teaching contemplative practices, please always offer students choice and options. And there's a document on our website that also has some best practices for facilitating contemplative practices in higher education classrooms. And please be intentional with your vocabulary. Offering a command to someone to close your eyes is very different than invitational language. And I would encourage folks to also strive for diversity in the presentation of the contemplative practices that they offer to students. Here are some of the works that I've cited in the presentation previously, and also a couple of more works that I didn't cite directly, but that informed this presentation. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you and learning with you. Best wishes.